There's a Ghanaian who is giving the FBI the toughest of times. He is wanted, yet has gone missing for so many years now. The case of Ayitey Ayayee-Amim sits within a long list of healthcare fraud prosecutions handled by the United States government. His listing on the FBI's wanted page is the result of a federal warrant issued after he failed to appear for trial. This expanded account outlines the details of the allegations, the structure of healthcare fraud schemes, the investigative process, the legal implications, the operational patterns of such crimes, and the broader context into which this case fits. It presents the information in a direct, neutral, and detailed manner, using the known facts as a foundation and expanding into the mechanics of this category of criminal activity. According to the FBI, Ayitey Ayayee-Amim was born on September 29, 1979 in Ghana. His physical description lists him as approximately 6 feet tall, with black hair and brown eyes, weighing around 220 pounds. The FBI indicates that he has used several aliases, including Ayitey Amim, Kwame, Man of God, Sam, Pastor Kwame, Ayitey Ayayee-Amim, Ayitey Ayayee, and Kwame Ayayee. The presence of multiple aliases normally signals that an individual has operated within different personal or professional contexts, or has used alternative identities for social, work-related, or travel-related purposes. The charge attached to his name is conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud. This category of offense involves knowingly participating in a coordinated effort to defraud a healthcare benefit program, often involving Medicare or Medicaid. In the United States, healthcare fraud is treated as a serious federal offense because the payments originate from government funds. Any misuse of these systems affects public resources and becomes subject to strict federal oversight. According to publicly available federal information, between the years 2010 and 2011, Ayayee-Amim worked with a home health agency that was involved in billing Medicare for services. During this period, it is alleged that he participated in the submission of claims that were fraudulent in nature. Fraudulent claims typically involve services that were not medically necessary, were not provided, or were exaggerated in complexity or duration. The government relies heavily on documentation, such as patient records, physician certifications, home visit notes, and billing forms to verify the legitimacy of claims. The FBI states that he recruited patients and provided them with kickbacks in exchange for their participation. A kickback scheme in healthcare fraud commonly involves giving patients money or other compensation to allow their Medicare numbers to be used for billing purposes. In many cases, these patients do not require home health services and may never see a nurse or caregiver. The fraud occurs when the agency submits claims for home visits, skilled nursing, therapy, or other services that did not take place using the patient's legitimate Medicare information. The involvement of patients is essential for this type of fraud. Their Medicare identification numbers function as the key to unlocking federal reimbursement funds. To acquire these numbers, individuals working within the operation approach patients, often in low-income communities, senior living facilities, or immigrant neighborhoods, where individuals may be more willing to accept financial incentives. Once a patient agrees, the fraud organizers gain everything they need to generate claims. Each claim submitted to Medicare follows a standardized process, and once approved, payment is issued electronically to the agency. The US government monitors these transactions, but does not review every individual claim in real time. Instead, the system relies on pattern detection, statistical anomalies, whistleblowers, and audits. Fraud often goes unnoticed for months or years until the volume or nature of claims triggers suspicion. A common pattern involves agencies billing for an unusually high number of hours, visits, or complex services compared to similar agencies. Another pattern might involve the same patient receiving services from multiple agencies, which raises questions about duplication. Investigations typically begin quietly. Federal agencies such as the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Inspector General, HHS-OIG, the FBI, and Medicare contractors monitor data and identify irregularities. If a home health agency's billing patterns do not match expected medical needs, investigators may begin reviewing claims manually. They may interview patients, check visit records, analyze bank statements, and compare documented notes with actual patient conditions. In the case involving Ayayee-Amim, The investigation appeared to have progressed far enough for federal authorities to bring charges. He was arrested on May 8, 2015. After arrest, defendants are generally brought before a federal magistrate judge to determine bail conditions. He was released on bail, which meant the court believed he could appear for future proceedings while remaining outside custody. A failure to appear in court transforms the nature of a case significantly. When Ayayee-Amim did not appear for his scheduled jury trial on August 15, 2016, the court issued a warrant for his arrest. A trial cannot proceed without the defendant present unless specific legal conditions are met. When a defendant fails to appear, the court must declare them a fugitive. The issuance of a federal arrest warrant means any law enforcement officer in the United States can detain the individual if located. The FBI listing suggests that Ayayee-Amim may be traveling or residing in Canada, the United Kingdom specifically, Ghana, the northeastern United States, or the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. These locations may be based on his past travel history, known connections, family ties, or previous work and residence records. The FBI frequently lists multiple possible locations when they have reason to believe the individual may cross borders or maintain relationships in more than one region. The reward for information leading to his arrest and conviction is listed as up to $1,000. Rewards do not always reflect the scale of the alleged fraud. Instead, they serve as an additional tool to encourage cooperation from the public. In many cases, the FBI relies more heavily on investigative techniques, international partnerships, and data tracking rather than public tips. Still, even a small reward can prompt individuals who have encountered the fugitive to come forward. Healthcare fraud schemes often follow similar operational structures, even across different states or agencies. The core components usually include a recruiter, a medical professional such as a doctor or nurse, an agency administrator, a billing specialist, and the patients. Not all schemes include every role, but many involve at least 2 or 3 people working together. Physicians are required to certify home health services. If a doctor knowingly signs unnecessary certifications, they become part of the conspiracy. If they are unaware, fraudsters may forge documents or use the credentials of a doctor without consent. The billing process is often centralized. Electronic claim submissions require agency login details and access to secure billing portals. Fraudsters with administrative authority can control how claims are submitted and can alter patient records to match the claims. This manipulation of documentation is one of the most time-consuming parts of a healthcare fraud operation because records must appear medically accurate to withstand audits. Kickbacks to patients are illegal under US federal law because they distort medical decision-making and encourage fraud. Patients who accept kickbacks may later face legal consequences themselves, although prosecutors sometimes decline to charge patients to secure testimony against organizers. In many fraud cases, patients claim they did not understand the full extent of what they were participating in. They may say they believe the payments were legitimate benefits or assistance. Some patients may not speak English well, making it easier for fraud organizers to mislead them. Federal agents often use undercover investigators or informants to verify whether services are actually being delivered. In some home health fraud cases, investigators may visit patient homes to check if nurses ever came. They may examine phone records, employment histories, and GPS data from agency vehicles. They may also compare the number of patients assigned to one nurse to see if the workload is realistic. Forensic accountants play a major role in healthcare fraud investigations. They track the flow of money from Medicare to agency accounts, and then from those accounts to employees, recruiters, or patients. Patterns such as repeated withdrawals in round amounts, large transfers to individuals, or cash payments can indicate kickback activity. When a defendant flees before trial, the case becomes more complicated. The government must then combine investigative efforts with fugitive tracking. Fugitive investigations rely on surveillance, monitoring of travel records, communication with foreign law enforcement, and analysis of financial activity. If the person uses their own passport, travels by air, or interacts with financial institutions, their details may appear in databases accessible to US authorities. However, fugitives can remain hidden for long periods if they avoid formal systems and restrict their movement.